Welcome back to Go Fuck Yourself.
My vibration is just fine.
Yep, with Kenn.
Debbie.
Yep. I got to pick the name last time. What name are we using today?
I don't know.
Bethany? Sarah? Brittany. Ooh, I love Brittany. Okay, we'll use Brittany. Sorry for if you're listening and your name's Brittany. We don't really mean you, but you get what we're talking about. I do think I figured out the t-shirt. It's just gonna say Love and Gaslighting. Or Love and Gaslight from the last episode.
Do you know we've created a t-shirt for every episode?
Okay. We're gonna revisit Love and Gaslight real quick. Because I forgot. There was one thing I wanted to say. And you just reminded me. And it goes along with this, I promise. Stick with me. We talked about love and light being a lifestyle. Right? So a lot of people use that in their marketing material.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's become a lifestyle. It's become a version of marketing. So one of the things I learned about doing retreats last year, I was following Michelle Villalobos on YouTube. Amazing, brilliant. I learned so much. But one of the things when you're doing retreats is you have the idea of small events that get people interested in the change. They can feel the change that they want to make. Okay, so then that might be me giving a free class somewhere, or they might get it from my book. Well, then the next thing would be a paid class. And then the next thing would be like, oh, is this the right person for the retreat that you're doing? Mm-hmm. Right? So you have this natural progression of 10 people down to a few people, down to a few less people, getting them, and it's a marketing strategy. It is a marketing strategy, and it's also just a way of narrowing down people who might want to come to your stuff. So
right.
When love and light is used as a multi-level marketing scheme or a way to make money, it does then become this form of a marketing weapon. If I'm just using it to narrow down people because I really do want certain specific people in the retreat, great. But what we're seeing is not that.
Right.
What we're seeing is I'm going to sell you a lifestyle, and by the time you leave here, you are going to have your own boho hat and your own boho fringe and your own curly blonde hair, whatever, right? You're going to have what I'm showing you life will look like. I also think that's where media does us bad, does us wrong in these certain circumstances, is we've now seen love and light as a lifestyle and something to attain. We also equate that to being spiritual.
Yes.
And I think that's just to add that back in as an thing I forgot to add last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Refocus. I told Debbie I'm not telling her the topic until we start recording. And so I think I would love to talk about, because I've taught classes on this before, and I feel very passionately about this. I want to talk about, as you mentioned last time, light, dark, good, bad, blah, blah, blah. Always this dichotomy and this binary of opposites. So the hero and the villain.
Ooh, I love this.
I love this topic because for a while I even said, I'm okay being someone's villain. Mm-hmm. And I think I see that a lot on memes. I see that, people say it all the time. I'm okay being someone's villain. And I'm just not going to interact with them, but whatever they tell themselves and tell other people about me, I'm okay being their villain. I am not okay being their villain anymore. And not because I don't think that it's an okay thing to be. I just want to stop I want to stop pushing that story.
Hmm.
So I've kind of pulled back from using that, even though I know I am, and I know I'm, this antithesis for some people or this anti for some people, but I don't want to push the story anymore. And I feel like because it's such a big thing in our culture,
Hmm.
Disney even does it, right? Like our stories are all based upon hero villain.
Right.
I think it's a fascinating topic. So 3, 2, 1, go.
So much.
I know, so much. So much.
Okay. So I personally have always identified with the villain
Hmm.
because that's what I was told growing up. I was the
Really?
bad person. I was the bad whatever. So I never fit in. I wasn't good enough for my father
Mhm.
and his wives. I was always the outcast.
Real quick, wives. You didn't.
Plural.
You weren't in polygamy though.
No,
Okay.
no.
I
No,
just want.
so he was married to one at a time. It just
Okay.
had some over the
We're
years.
from Utah, and I just want to make sure we
No,
clarify that
believe
because
me.
that's a whole other episode that I would really love to
No.
get into if you grew up in polygamy.
No, yeah. So they would separate, like
Yeah.
3 marriages.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeez.
So I was always the bad kid, right? According to the stepmoms.
Yeah.
So here in the Disney part, I did relate. So when I was little, I did relate to Cinderella
Yeah.
and Snow White. I'm like, oh my God, that's a story about me,
Yep.
But also, then it came to I didn't fit in anywhere in school or anything.
Hmm.
The only people that liked me for who I was were considered the bad kids.
Yep.
So, um, so he's not really my cousin. He's my aunt's nephew, but my aunt is my aunt from marriage, but we're still cousins.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our high school that we went to. Across the street, there was the pavilion.
Yep.
And that's where the kids would go to smoke, right?
Yep.
So I didn't really fit in with all those people, but the bad kids were who I hung out because they accepted me for me, right?
Yeah.
And then come to, older teen, young adult and processing stuff and healing traumas and everything. And I was talking to my aunt and I'm like, everybody always wanted to point the finger and be like, well, she's just bad. She's got that bad gene or that bad egg or whatever. I said, nobody was willing to take a look at how I was being treated, what was being done behind closed doors, how, you know what I mean? So I always have identified with a villain because I was told I was the villain. Even though when you're 10, 11, 12, how a grown ass adult can make you out to be a villain is just disgusting. But it happens. So,
Yeah.
um, instead of people looking like, oh shit, what has she got going on? It was, oh, she was born that way. She's just a bad egg.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love, but I don't love how they're perceived. But so now in this day and age, and let's say the past 10, 15 years, um, some romantasy books and all that, they turned the villain and Disney did that too. Like if you look at Maleficent, the live action ones,
Yep.
You were told the story wrong.
Yeah.
This one person said this about her, and look at the trauma that was done to her. Look at how she was bullied and whatever, but she was made out to be the villain.
Yep.
God, I identify with that so much. And so, you can say what you want about Disney. It has its parts in some things.
Yeah.
But I've always identified with the villain.
I think it's funny, not funny, haha, but like interesting. I think it's interesting that you brought up in the beginning, you identified with Cinderella and Snow White because they end up being the heroine because even in the story, the hero is the prince who wakes them up or takes them away.
Oh yeah, well,
right, like
yeah,
but
not really.
Yeah, I
like
mean, right.
They overcame their tormentors. How's that? But I guess it was a man that came in to save them.
Yeah,
but not really. Like in Cinderella, it wasn't necessarily it was mostly the animals that saved her ass.
So it was
And
nature.
it was the dwarfs that, preserved Snow White
Right.
until Prince Charming came, I
It
guess.
feels really gross.
It
Okay,
does.
hold on.
It does.
We got it. Oh,
Okay, the time that we grew up in, we know better now.
we know
We
better.
know that's all.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
just saying, 100 years ago when that shit came
Yes.
out,
So
there wasn't a lot of
Right.
other stuff,
right.
and I could
Right.
identify.
And so when do you think did it switch for you where you realized that you were not going to become the princess who was rescued or who went on to live this magical life while the stepmother was actually seen for who she was? What happened, or when did that switch that story then was no longer going to fulfill itself in the way that with the character you identified with, and you became the villain?
Really young, like 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Oof.
Because I knew at that point, it doesn't matter what I did or what I didn't do.
Yep.
I was never going to be good enough for some people.
Mm.
And it was a lot of people. It was the family I was born into.
Yep.
It was the groups at school.
Yep.
So what started up the whole thing? So my mom died when I was 7.
Okay.
And then everybody, we don't know how to talk to that girl.
Yeah.
Her, and so even friends, and then you have the religious aspect of it. So after that, we no longer went to the church and did. So then you were, well, you don't go.
Yep. Yep.
And you don't, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was just a roller coaster from there. So about 12, which is like 5 years into, all of a sudden I'm an outcast. Nobody knows how to talk to me. Nobody wants to talk to me because,
It's uncomfortable. For us.
By that time,
Yeah.
I think we was on stepmom number 2.
Wait.
And the first one was horrible. The second one, nice at first, but then it's so bad. So bad. Anyway, it was 12. And I'm like, I don't even want to be liked by these people anymore. Because if they make me, and what they're doing to me, they can fuck off. I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
So if being the opposite of that means I'm smoking at age 12, I'm staying out all night, I'm running away, I'm looking for love in a boy that's twice my age because I have daddy issues, whatever. That's the way it was. So, and I prided myself on being the bad seed, the black sheep. Like I told you, me and Mike, we were the black sheep of the family. We didn't fit.
Yep.
You did not fit that peg, no matter what you tried, how you tried. There was a short span between, like, maybe when I first turned 12, I started junior high. And like the 7th grade year, I was like, okay, new school, blah, blah, blah. I went in shaking, so terrified. Anyway, I tried. I like quit smoking. I got good grades. I didn't slut. I was lonely. I was so lonely. And I didn't fit in with anybody. So fuck it all. Like, if this is what it takes to be accepted by you people, bye. I'm out. I'm going to go like people who like me, and it doesn't matter what I do. I can smoke a cigarette. I can drink a beer. I can lust and make out with some guy in the back of the car. And yes, it was too young, and I don't like that I did that now. But at that, it was just like, they accept me for who I am.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, bad, or good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to go with that, because when I try, I just get more. Yeah. So always identify with the villain. Always. And to this day, so now, healing, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And you hear about heroes, right? And every hero is single or goes through a mass, like the hero stories, athletes, celebrity, all this stuff.
Even the hero's
It doesn't
journey.
fit. Yeah, right? Like, what if you already battled all your demons and all that stuff 20 years ago? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do now? Why does it always you have to be this big, huge thing to have some type of excitement and passion and magical whatever in everyday mundane life? So even now, when you look at these stories of overcoming hardships and blah blah blah, and it's these here, and they live this larger than life, right? That's not reality for 90% of people. And I don't want that either. I don't want like celebrity and follow I don't want that either. You know what like I don't want that. So
It it's I think it's interesting, I remember trying for a very long time to fit fit in and be accepted. Not that I wasn't, but it wasn't I wasn't popular. I wasn't, I wasn't athletic. I wasn't any of those things
Right.
that were valued. Um, and I remember being in seminary, um, and the teacher telling a story, and I remember thinking, I wonder if he's saying this for me, because I had been teased quite a bit about, oh, you're a faggot, like fag, gay, or all those words back in the 90s and 80s. And I remember this seminary teacher telling us a story, and now I know I try not to make up stories. Okay, I'm a good bullshitter, but I try not to make up stories. I try to say, okay, I had this client one time. This was a situation. I never use terms. I don't want to make. Yeah. I don't want to make up a story just to make a point, right? Unless I tell people, I'm like, okay, I'll tell you, I've created
a for
so,
instance.
yes. So, but he said, so there was this boy in high school, and people teased him and called him, you know, gay, and so he was different, and for a long time, and then as an adult, um, he uh, he ran into this guy again, and he was gay and was openly gay and all this stuff back when it was still just barely becoming acceptable, um, or mainstream, and he goes, so but basically the story was us using that people using that term for him made him that way.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I thought, well, that's interesting. So I'm like, okay, so um when we're talking about power dynamics of hero and villain and the creation of a villain, right? Um what does that look like in story form? And because it can take so many different visuals. Because if I look at that, um let's just say I was that boy that he was talking about, right? He was just making up the story. So the villain in the story, in modern story, would have been me, against them. But I'm the villain because at one point they were the villain that made me, that treated me in a certain way that then made me the villain, right? So, and then we go into him being the seminary teacher. Then did he create the villain because he told them the story? Like it becomes this like fuckery of who's right and wrong.
Yes, who's to blame?
Yeah, who's to blame? Yeah. And so I think that's one aspect of this whole hero villain stuff. Um Also, in our desperation, we're going to get back into your story because I love your story and I think it's fascinating and I want to know more about it. Um and I want to see how this idea fits into your story.
Okay.
How you take it. I think you cannot be a hero. Okay. We all want to be special, and we look at heroes in our society. The fireman who runs into the burning building and saves the person, or the police officer, or people who do heroic deeds by saving someone else. Ooh, that just got a whole lot deeper over here.
Yeah, it did.
Right. So, ooh, I felt that. And it wasn't my breakfast that rumbled. It was so anyway. Uh, yeah. So if we've seen this and we see how heroes are treated in our society, and we want to be a hero, you either have to do a heroic deed, which means putting somebody else first, or you need a villain.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, yeah. So think about this, though. You just said a hero is somebody that puts somebody else first, goes into the burning building and save a baby.
yep.
But I'll tell you what, in parts of my healing, I would have ran into a burning building without thinking. That would have been easy. Freaking piece of cake, walk in the park, easy,
Yeah.
than sitting with myself.
Yeah.
So being a hero in that aspect is a freaking cakewalk.
And we also
It's
think that
easier to
perfect-
save other people than it is to
To save
look at
yourself.
and save yourself.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that's again what you like if you would have done that, we'd be like, oh, she's a hero, and we automatically put onto you this whole structure of you have your shit together, you're perfect, you're selfless, you've done all your shadow work. Oh,
Bless you.
pardon me, thank you. And so that's another aspect of hero that we immediately then that's how I think we get the gurus, right?
Yes.
I made you feel, I made you do something, I made something happen within you, and you see the difference, and so now you automatically look to me as being this role model, kind of thing. So many different aspects of the hero villain, or even just hero or just villain. So let me ask you this. Are you ready?
Yeah. Maybe. You scare me
I know.
sometimes.
Sorry. At least we're not, no.
Don't call me out of my shit right
Yeah,
now.
I won't. I need to let you know that Debbie was just taking a drink, and I felt very, very strongly like I wanted to yell "pussy power." But then I thought I'm sitting across from her, and I do not want to get drenched in Lake Fresca.
You would.
So here's my question: did your stepmothers turn you into the villain so they could be the hero?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also don't think people understand when you're marrying or getting into a relationship with people with children, period, let alone children whose mother has died. You don't understand unless you have your own children, or maybe if you have your own children, but you just don't give a fuck about your kids. The amount they don't it's not a, they don't understand what daily life is going to be like. So when you get into it and this is daily life and it's not romantic and it's not fun and you're not fucking all the time and it's not exciting anymore, what do you do? So anyway, so did they make you the villain?
Mhm.
And like what did that look like? How did that look? Did you provide resistance to that in the beginning and then just said fuck it?
Resistance to.
Like did you try to um com- compete with them for your dad's attention?
Oh, no. No, but so, and I didn't understand this until I was older.
Yeah, because you were 12.
Right. So the first stepmother, she had 3 kids.
Mm.
My dad had 3 kids.
Okay.
We were living in a 2-bedroom house.
With 6 kids.
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
So the dynamics.
Yeah.
Without getting into the dynamics, she basically, my youngest brother is special needs.
Mhm.
So he was in diapers and stuff for a long time. She's like, no, I'm done doing that, blah, blah, blah. So at 8, I was raising, he's 4 years younger than me. So my 4-year-old brother, right? Because she didn't want to have nothing to do with that. So that was basically, oh, we're going to be this blended family, but we're keeping everything separate. Okay.
Wow.
But I was the, well, she did this. And so she had 2 boys and a girl. My dad had a girl and 2 boys, but it was different, like ages. So anyway, I had to share a bed with her daughter, which would have been my stepsister. I did something wrong every day. It didn't matter what I did. Something was wrong. You drank the last of the milk. You were said this, which was inappropriate to the daughter, her daughter, whatever the case may be. There was that. Then the third wife, just, it didn't matter what I did, and she would just go off the wall for like we had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and scrub baseboards and mop the kitchen floor by hand. Me and my brother, not the special needs, but the middle one.
Are you kidding?
No. And so he was doing the dishes.
You really were Cinderella.
Yeah, I told you.
Holy fuck.
I fucking identified. So my brother was doing the dishes. I was on my hands and knees mopping the floor. And this was at 5 o'clock in the morning before school.
Yeah.
And he was cleaning a crock pot and he pulled the crock pot knob off. And she lost her shit. And I said, okay, that's it. I grabbed my brothers. I grabbed clothes. I said, we're out. We're leaving.
Yeah.
She ripped my shirt off me, threw my brother off the porch, blah, blah, blah. So I called my mom's mom, my grandma, and I'm like, you need to come get us. I don't know, And I overreacted to that situation. I didn't need to gather them. I didn't need to leave the house. I didn't need to, because I didn't stand there and let her treat us that way. I was the bad guy. You know what I mean? And so people told me when I was older that she was jealous of me, that she looked at me like I was the other woman in my dad's life, which is fucking disgusting when you look at the age I was. And it's continued on. It's still to this day, there is stuff like that going on. He's still married to her. I don't have contact with him. But that's the type of stuff. So yeah, I was made out to be the villain. It didn't matter what I did. And like I said, there was that span of a couple of months when I was 12. And then I said, fuck it all. I got caught with cigarettes. So they bought me, and they're like, you're going to smoke this whole pack until you get sick. I'm like, cool. And then they handed them to me, and I was like, ew, these kinds are gross. And she's like, well, sorry, we can't afford. I'm like, I'm 12. If I can afford them, you can afford them.
Oh no. Oh shit, you threw down.
Well, at that point, I knew nothing I could ever do was going to change it. So yes, I was made out to be the villain. And everybody would be like, oh, it's her. She's the problem. And I'm like, no. My dad is the problem because he's letting it happen and he's not doing anything about it. He's not sticking up for his kids. He's writing his kids off for the sake of peace, and so he doesn't have to be alone.
And for the sake of a peace. We're back to
a peace. And I'm like, it can't be that good, can it? So I don't know. I feel like I'm talking about myself too much, but yes, just little stuff like that. So instead of good job watching out for your younger brothers, getting out of a bad situation, you overreacted. You were being way too fucking dramatic. You didn't need to do that. You didn't need to get your grandma involved. We need to mind our own business. And it just goes on and on and on and on.
So, I personally, I think I love hearing
overshare.
No, I don't think it's an overshare because I think it's important for us to understand where that your feelings that you've expressed in the past episodes and in this one are not just a simple reaction to a modern thing. Some of this shit has been going on for years and years and years. Mm. And it is family patterns, and not even family patterns. It's patterns of behavior that are societally okay, and we just kind of keep going with. So I know.
You thought you were going to surprise me by not telling me the topic, and now you're the one.
I know. So, God, where do I want to go? Where do I feel like I have so many thoughts about this?
That's what I said when we started. There's so much.
There's so much in like these topics. So, first of all, I think it would have been and is, because I know a ton of people, and I'm not putting you on a pedestal for this. Although I do think it's amazing to be so self-aware that you understand. So many people would have stayed in that cycle, and their daughter or their children would have had the same experience that you did, because you didn't become aware of it and didn't work through some of that stuff. Because I've watched it. I've watched it happen, and we see it a lot, right? And so I do think it's quite amazing that you've done the self-evaluation to be able to not repeat the pattern. And again, 12-year-old you said, fuck it, I'm gonna be what they want me to be. I'm gonna be the villain. And it's easier.
Yeah.
2, even though we're the black sheep, we still fit into something. We can be accepted as part of the family, but we just have to preface it with, she's the black sheep.
Yeah.
Or she's the bad one.
The troublemaker.
Yeah,
The one that stirs the pot. The one that can't just be.
The one
that can't just accept all our ideas and beliefs, and this is just the way our family is, and just roll with it. Why do you got to make things difficult?
Why do you have to poke the bear? My question to her was like, why are you threatened by a 12-year-old? Right?
Ultimate question.
Wow. So then, going kind of continuing on with not her, but that idea. I always think that people who don't like me, because I might be irreverent and I might not, look like everyone else. Blonde hair, blue eyes, chiseled physique. Because that's what I thought you had to be growing up. Well, I'm honest, right? Even nowadays, do you have any fat pill and workout ads I get across my social media? So the people who don't like me and the people who have a problem with me are the people who haven't gotten from me what they wanted.
Yes.
So they had an expectation. I had somebody message me last night on one of my social medias and say, I have a question for you. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay. Okay. How will I know that I found my forever? And I'm like, your forever what? I'm like, I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Like, my person. And I'm like, ooh. And I took about 45 minutes before I responded, because my first response is, you're asking the wrong person, because I don't believe in soulmates. I don't necessarily believe in twin flames. That's not true. I do. I don't believe they're as common as people think they are. And I think that wanting one just makes you, it goes back to a whole bunch of other things that are, it's not, right? It's
right.
not.
And if you watch that documentary, you'd be grossed out by the term.
Yeah, I actually need to watch that documentary. I still haven't done it.
So bad. Anyway.
So I backed off of it for a little bit, and then I responded. I'm like, okay, so how do I actually help this person? But I'm like, my first response would have elicited her response being, he's an asshole. I'm like, you don't have a twin flame. You don't have a special someone. You choose to be with people, right? Like, I didn't want to say that. So my response was, okay, to me, you need to know what confirmation and affirmation feels like. What is your yes? What is your no for your body and for your divination or whatever however you answer those questions? Then that will tell you if that person's right for you. And that's how I answered. So I put it back in their court. I'm like, no one. Well, first of all, if someone tells you that person's your soulmate, I just get really nervous about that. So are you going to pay for my divorce if it doesn't work out? But so people who don't get what they want from me tend to not like me, and then I'm the villain.
Yes.
Because I didn't give them what they wanted. Now, that has nothing to do with a hero, but it has everything to do with this idea that of being the bad one, or the one who didn't give me what I wanted, or the one who stands in my way, the one who didn't support me as I wanted to be supported.
But they've also made the villain out to be the one that's evil. Bad. I don't know what I was. Something came up on social media, and I went and read the comments. I shit you not. Do you know how many goddamn comments were, it's because of Satan. It's because the devil. Shut the fuck up. Are we still doing this stupid shit?
Yeah, we are.
But then, have you ever watched the show Lucifer?
Only because he's not ugly.
So I like to think of, and I always think about, like, whoever a group is like beaten down, they're evil, they're wrong, they're bad, blah. It's like, what if they're just misunderstood? And to make this guy look better, they're lying about these evil, you know what I mean? So I love that show just because I love the idea of that. Like, Lucifer's just a guy with daddy issues. You know what I mean? He didn't want to do and follow every word his dad said. So, well, you're an outcast. You're no son of mine. You're going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, after all this time and all these thousands of years of human beings being on this planet, everything is just repeating and it's just sickening. But I always look at, I've never had hero worship, and I don't to this day.
Yeah.
There's not a god I worship. There's not a deity I worship. There is not a celebrity I worship. No.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I mean, you could be Jesus himself in front of me right now.
I might be.
Who the fuck are you? You don't get to dictate to me anything. And I do not worship you because you're not fucking perfect.
No. I think that's one of the things I like about, or I resonate with about the Northern tradition is that even the gods aren't immortal, and they can't escape the results of their actions in Northern tradition. So they're not perfect, and they're not necessarily meant to be worshipped, or require that. Some of them do, but there's stories about, and their wisdom about living or mistakes or successes. And if we look at within the story structure of a lot of those stories, it's all about overcoming the giants. Now, the giants represent a different race of beings that are more natural. They're more they're considered less intelligent, but they're not. But they're more. I consider them more natural. So they're more nature based, right? Like they're more in tune and in touch with nature and with their own nature, and it's less logical, less brain activated, right? And they live this better thing. So even in those terms, it's about overcoming our own true nature. So it's about bettering ourselves or overcoming our desires and things like that. But, and I will use "but" in that instance, who said that those things were wrong?
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
who? So we know, you know, when Christianity came over, whatever. That's where the right and wrong, the hero villain, the good bad, or good evil. You know, like, I don't even know how many times I've been called evil in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it was the empath episode. And then I go to read her and she said, well, you have this evil entity that's attached to you and I can remove it for $400 and something. Our mutual friend, he messaged me. I sense that you have an evil entity. I can remove it for 475. And I said, well, I'll tell you how I feel, even if you don't want me to, just so I can know that I'm right and prove how great I am.
Yes. Yeah. It's such a.
Now, don't get me wrong. There is evil in the world, okay? But it all comes back to, like we said in the previous episode, taking personal responsibility for your actions.
Yep.
Nobody is making you do anything. And I absolutely, so stepmom number 2 has been diagnosed with bipolar.
Okay.
So they think that that makes it okay for her actions because she has this and my dad told me that she has a mental disease. It's a disease. Okay, maybe it is. I don't agree with that statement, whatever. If you know that being on medication helps you not act out that way, yet you refuse to take that medication, is that part of it too?
Mhm.
Or you know what I mean? I don't
That's
like
bullshit.
it. I don't like it. But it goes back to hero, villain, good, evil. You know,
And
it's not something making people do bad, air quotes, things. You know what I mean?
yep,
And
yeah, yes.
yeah, I don't.
We always like to think it's something outside of us.
Yes.
Um,
It's a dark spirit, an entity. Oh, all these negative emotions.
yep,
They're what's making me
yep,
do this stuff
Yep.
that I'm being called out for or whatever. And it's absolute bullshit, all of it. Just like astrology signs.
mhm,
I'm a Pisces.
mhm.
So, oh, we're so woo woo and we don't have a toe in reality and blah, blah, blah. Well, that, like, a lot of people say that. Oh, you're a
Yeah,
Pisces. That means you're just off in dreamland all the time and you don't have a foot in
yeah,
reality. And I'm like, that's kind of bullshit. I have more beat in reality. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Anyway, but I could use that like, well, I'm just a flighty, blah, blah, blah. That's why I'm not on time for anything because I'm a Pisces. I hate when people blame their signs.
people do use that.
Not
Yep, yeah,
no, you were late because you're irresponsible and you think that your time is more valuable than mine.
yep,
Now, if it's 5 so many, it doesn't matter. But
Yep.
if you're talking, you started a class, it's 30 minutes into the class and you walk in,
mhm,
or I scheduled my hair appointment with you.
yep,
I don't let you know, hey, this and this happened. It's just, I walk in 30 minutes later and I'm like, oops, sorry, it's just who I am.
yep.
No,
No,
Brit.
no. Thank you. No, Brittany. This is not how. Well, yeah, yes.
You don't get to use any of
Uh-uh.
that stuff. Hero, villain. I identify with the villain. I embraced it at a very young age. Like, oh, they think that's bad? Well, guess what? I'm going to go do that
I'll
then.
show them. Hmm. So okay, so then how? So I with the bipolar thing, real quick,
hmm
because it leads into my question for you. Um, to take the medication
hmm
and become have it stabilize things
hmm
would then create a situation where she had to accept all of the things that she has done in the past,
Uh-huh.
and that would be too much for her to handle.
Uh-huh.
Um, so real quick, when I got on my ADHD medication and it kicked in, and I was like, oh my god, like my life just changed because my brain is doing the chemical thing that is quote unquote normal,
hmm
but all of it cleared and I could focus. And it was like, oh shit, I've been like 46 years with this. And it was almost, I was frustrated because I'm like, I could have gotten so much more done
Yeah.
in these 46 years. But I can also now see where in her case, fuck, all of those things I did that I could run from and I
Mhm.
could blame something else on now, I'm going to have to accept. Now, whether or not it was intentional or chemical or whatever, you still have to kind of take responsibility for that. And part of taking responsibility is taking a medication.
Mhm.
So,
She does take it, and she's still that way. So is it the
uh,
disorder or is it the person?
well, and is she still just masking it so she
Yeah.
doesn't have to deal
Yeah.
with it, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, I guess the question I'm thinking about for you, in this situation is then, what was it like, and how did you kind of work through maybe accepting this role as villain, um, and doing the things that villains do? Um, how did you kind of rectify that, um, in terms of maybe accountability? Uh, did you just own it and say, "Yep, I did that," or was there some sort of battle happening in you where you're doing the things because it's expected of you, and you're embracing being the villain wholeheartedly. And then what were there things within you that were at opposition to that, I guess?
Yes. Well, being the villain, I was harming myself
Yeah.
and I was self-medicating
Hmm.
and all the things bad kids do,
Yeah.
drinking myself stupid, doing drugs, getting with people that were not good to or for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I would when did so no, it was not just I mean, I embraced it, but then it was like, okay, this is no longer working. I
Yeah.
don't feel good. I'm hurting myself. I don't want to hate myself anymore.
Yeah.
Because by hating myself, I'm just reinforcing what those fuckers said,
Yep.
you know? But I would guess when I got pregnant with my son is like, oh, we can't put any of this on him.
Yep.
And that's when
Mm.
it was, that's when the self-abusive somewhat acts, you know, no drugs, none of that. But then there was a problem with drinking for a while after that. But then, you know, we fixed that too because you get
Yeah.
to a point. So yeah, I embraced, but it was no longer working for me. And when it got to a point that I didn't want to put that on my kid
Mhm.
because then I'd be exactly like the people I can't stand.
Yeah. So, one of the things I like about doing this these discussions with you is that the beginning of uh of them does come from emotion inside of you, and it's because it's lived experience, and you've accepted the lived experience because most people won't. And they want to change it, and they want to rewrite the story to make themselves the hero
Yeah, that's just stupid.
instead of
And it's wasted
just
time.
it's a waste of time. Yeah, and it's for other people. And it's for other people, I think, in terms of marketing, but marketing yourself. But if you were to really accept the truth of it and the responsibility of it, um, and I think the most impactful stories are the ones that you or the most impactful energy is a lived experience. So you show up as you, living how you do. I don't need to know your history. I don't need to know your values. I don't need to know any of that. I just can see you living your life from a place of sovereignty is not my favorite word, but from a place of sovereignty, from a place of you're living your life. And that is what is inspiring to people. So it doesn't matter how you did it. Um, and sharing the story can inspire people. Uh, um, but there doesn't need to you're not a hero or a villain in
Mm.
any of this. You're just living you, and maybe in that respect is, uh, you know, understanding or looking at that as being the person or the hero who survived our modern uh, uh, trappings of villain and hero,
Yeah.
um, or broke free of it. I think. Um, it's easy to try to want to be in one of those boxes. It's easy to just accept it and go on. Um, and when we want to be accepted, I think, or when we want to feel special because we don't feel we don't value ourselves. We need value placed upon us by other people. Is when we then start to really find villains. Not that I'm going to go into this horribly. Um, the 2% of trans people are not the reason our country is having problems,
I know.
but they're who's being vilified right now, right?
Right.
So, um, I just invite people to say, and myself included. Believe me, I'm not excluded because I'm working through my own programming, but why do you need to vilify someone? Like,
Exactly.
what part of me needs to be fixed, or what part of me needs to be to elevate myself above someone else? What
Right.
part of me needs that? And then I need to lean into that. Like, where am I feeling not seen? Where am I feeling not understood? Where am I feeling like I need to bully someone so that there's someone lower on the rung than I am? Well, where is that coming from?
Also, when you said, where is it I'm not being seen, I need to be seen. Here's the thing. You don't need to find a group or a guru or anything to feel seen. Give it to yourself. Like the person asking if this is my soulmate. What you worrying about that shit for? Why do you feel that you need a soulmate? Why do you think in order to be happy, you need somebody else with you? Give what you're looking for to yourself.
Yep.
If
Yep.
yeah, like why it's just
Agreed.
it's just this never-ending cycle and it hurts my brain. Like so my dad's dad was an alcoholic, was never around. Committed suicide when I was in 5th grade.
Wow.
Um you would think that that would have some impact on my dad to be there for his children more after experiencing
Yeah.
an absentee drunk of a father. No. But you see that it like cycles just repeat same thing, you know? But it's also in society. It's not just family dynamics. It's in society and stuff. And when are we going to do and try to be different? Because we keep doing everything the same. It may look different, but it's not different. It's the same stuff.
Yep.
And expecting that's insanity,
Yep.
you know?
That's the definition.
And I don't like I hope to God nobody ever calls me a hero. I do not ever want to be. I don't look at hero the way the average Joe would be like, "Oh yeah, I want to be." You know what I mean? Because let's take the fireman thing for instance, right? A fireman, he goes into a fire, he saves this toddler. Hero, parade down Main Street, standing on top of the fire truck, waving at him. But little do you know that he goes home and beats his wife every night.
Yeah.
Or he's a drunk. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But he's praised as a damn hero. Or how many the preacher dad, and then you have the teenage daughter that's well, she's a hooker and a slut,
Yeah.
and the preacher's daughter. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a term.
That's it.
And when you say that to some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then little do you know, preacher, she just wants to be loved and accepted for who she is. Yet the preacher is, oh, well, he's the hero because he goes and serves his, what do they call it?
Congregation.
Yes. Serves his congregation and, you know, all this other stuff. But meanwhile,
Yep.
he treats his own family like shit. So
Yeah.
I would never, ever want to be identified as or looked at as a hero because the way people have just, it's just, to me, it's disgusting. I don't want to be that. And why does everything have to be that? Why can't we all just be who we are? Just let it be. Just let it be. Why does everything have to be the black and white, good and bad, evil, hero, villain? Why can't we just be and they're just and that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because I don't have pushed away the term guru or mentor for a very long time because I didn't know any other way to do it other than this structure of guru that
Mhm.
people do, and I don't want that. I don't want that pressure. I don't want that because I'm far from perfect. We can have discussions and we can talk about how this is going to work best for you,
Mhm.
but please don't think I'm by any means the way, the truth, and the life.
Right.
Right. So, um, it also, in that respect, like, um, we're doing a disservice to that fireman who now is expected to live very differently,
Yes.
never make a mistake.
Yes.
You have to be perfect. And yeah, we do live in a culture where a lot of stuff is hidden and we can't be just normal. We have to hide everything, which then makes all that stuff worse, right? So, but also then my thought was uh, that damn derailing trains. Hold on. Oh, my thought is this: was he just the first one to run into the building? And here we go. Are you ready? Drum roll. Would none of the others of us standing watching that building run in there?
Right.
So,
Right.
so
Like you were probably held back and told not to, but yeah, I would have ran into the building. We all would have ran into the building. It's just like
or would we?
a I would have.
You would, yeah, but not everybody else would have, right?
Right.
So, in that respect, they have to having somebody else do it allows for us as a huge amount of as a large population of humanity to have the best and the worst,
Mm-hmm.
and allow for some of us to we wouldn't have made that decision, but as long as somebody else did make that decision, I can claim humanity still has decency and has all of this really good stuff, right? But and at the same time, we're going to deny the worst of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
which would have been us letting someone burn and die
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't want to run in and save them, or setting the fire so that they would. Also, do we rely on other people to be the best of humanity and call that okay?
Yes.
And do we allow other people to be the worst or the villain
Yes.
in humanity? And it gives us something to say, well, we're better than that. We're not as good as the hero, but we're definitely better than the villain.
Yes. Yes.
And it allows us a safe place to exist where we can be not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
where we can be imperfect, where we can have flaws. And yet now within this fucking, of course, right, love and light gaslighting thing
Mm-hmm.
and new age stuff, we're now policing ourselves, or maybe we always have. No, I don't think that's true. We're policing ourselves with these other ideals now of love and light and these type of things. Now we're policing each other um, when it was already fucking hard enough to realize we'll never be this, and yet we're not as bad as this. Like it's this really interesting like dance of making sure that we're acceptable, and yet we can still maybe not be perfect. And as long as there is somebody who's perfect and somebody who's really bad, we can still kind of surf between the two as a majority of the population. I don't know. I think it's a really interesting thing to look at.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Sorry,
Because why is that?
yeah. Did you watch me go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, I did.
And there was like so many things I couldn't even grab. Like
Right.
I'm like moving my hands. I'm like I can't even grab onto the concepts
Because there's
in
so
this.
much involved in it.
Yeah, and like I've never been down this rabbit hole before. And so feeling out what that is, you
Mhm.
know, is interesting. All I know is that if I'm someone's villain, because for me they didn't get what they want, or they're not getting what they want out of
Mhm.
me. And if I'm someone's hero, I don't want to be. And it's messy, and I don't like it.
Right. Well, and it's a fine line too. Like you say you don't want to be a hero, but you can be looked at and respected and your opinion honored
Mhm.
because people know that you have done the work. You have looked at you've been through things, you've analyzed, you've grown, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's that pedestal that people want to put you on or people themselves want to be on. I don't understand why. Why do we want that? Why is that a goal? Why is that uh you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
So, while you were saying that, um, what what if one of the aspects of this pedestal is that, and this is self-sabotage. We know they're not going to be able to live up to it.
Mm-hmm.
They will fail, which
Mm-hmm.
then makes us feel better when we fail.
Oh, yeah. Or you have the people that want to be the martyr.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah.
yeah. And then, oh, I'll take one for the team. We even say that. Take one for the team.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's really messy and complicated and gross. Well, I think when we drill down into it, and it is maybe much deeper than we kind of anticipated.
Oh,
I
it's deep.
anticipated.
I don't think there's a bottom to it, really. It's deep,
No,
you know?
it's deep, and yet when we look at it in terms of story and the stories we tell ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's a knight in shining armor on a white horse, and somebody on a black horse with black armor and a black cape, and that's what we see.
And so you said the black horse, black armor, black cape. Okay. Why is it that the villains are always portrayed
Mhm,
with black hair? It's the dark haired, the dark eyes. So even when I was younger, I have aunts that are the same age as me.
mhm.
Like one's a year older, the twins are a year younger.
Yep.
Uh, Barbies and dolls, they were all blonde hair, blue eyed.
Yep.
It was rare. And so we were poor and we got stuff donated one Christmas. And the girls, the three girls, the aunts, they all got the blonde babies, but somebody donated a black Cabbage Patch doll. She was black with
Yeah.
black hair. That was given to me because the hair matched my hair.
Because you have black hair and brown
But the
eyes.
villain, and that, if you think I did not notice that when I was younger,
Yeah.
you are dead wrong.
Yep.
There was not a Barbie because they would have brown-headed Barbies, but back then there was not black-haired Barbies.
Nope.
There was not black-haired dolls.
Yep.
So nothing ever fit the thing. So
Yeah.
not only that, but so you have the villains are always dark complected or dark hair, dark eyes.
Yep.
With my name too, Debbie Downer. I got that all the time too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was another thing. Well, and so even if you think I did not pick up on that, and I did all the time.
Yeah.
There was never a black haired Barbie, never black haired dolls. I mean, that didn't, they were all blonde hair, blue eyes. Some of them would be like the light brown,
Yep.
sandy blonde.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but not.
not dark. So dark, I noticed that when I was younger also, and I'm like, well, there you go.
That's
Dark hair, dark eyes. I must be the villain, right?
yeah, yeah. I think that's fucking fascinating, by the way. Because now this whole hero villain thing, by looking at blonde, blue-eyed, white horse, silver
Mm-hmm.
armor, shiny with the contrasting with the black, right? Which, by the way, he usually had a mustache or a goatee or something. Even
Right.
like the dastardly Dirk, whatever his name was, the guy who like tied the woman to the railroad tracks and the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Canadian mountie
Yeah,
would
yeah,
come
yeah.
and save him, whatever. Even that, even in those terms, they had dark hair.
Uh-huh.
So so I think it's a fascinating. I think because I know some of the things that were done in the 40s and 50s were to as in opposition to communism. So the nuclear family was was a public, like a service announcement, kind of like, this is what a father looks like, this is what a mother looks like, this is what the kids look like, this is what they do. So even the nuclear family, I watched a thing on PBS about that, and how the government did put out videos saying this is what these people look like. So if we don't fit into that, then we are automatically the other. So what I love about what's happening is that dolls come in every shape and color now.
Yeah.
TV shows have heroes that are all kinds of different representation, and as long as we can keep that going, the kids or next generations won't have what you and I had, which was an automatic visual representation of what was acceptable and what wasn't.
Yeah.
Which meant who was good and who was bad.
Yeah.
And maybe we should look at giving you blonde hair and seeing how that how
No.
that looks for you.
We know it washes me out and it turns orange and it's awful. And I don't want to be a Brittany.
Well, Brittany shaved her head, but which Brittany don't you want to be?
The one that we came up with the name at the start of this episode.
Not Britney Spears. Like,
No.
it's Brittany, bitch. You know,
No,
like that
no.
Brittany. Okay.
Just the, you know.
I think it's fascinating. I love this topic. I'm glad that you came up with it and showed up with it today. This has been a little bit longer episode.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
Not sorry.
sorry, not sorry. Because I think that if you don't see yourself, if you don't look into the mirror of media and see someone who looks like you as being able to be a hero, you automatically put yourself in the other, and they put you in the other because we see it.
Right.
And fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And as we always say to close out the show, you know, go fuck yourself. My vibration's
just
fine.